Today on the podcast, we are talking about the 4-day work week. The 4-day work week. It's been talked about quite a bit over the past few years, and it's becoming more and more a reality. And we're going to talk about how much of a reality it is on today's show. Frame My Name podcast starts right about now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame My Name podcast. It's your boy Simbawi Anybody Jr., aka TK, along with my co-host Omar Williams. We call him O, and Denise Obi. We call her D Nice. Y'all say what's up to the peeps.
Hello, hello.
What's up, good people? It is another lovely Wednesday morning, and y'all know how we do. We jump right in and get things started. But before we do, it is Affirmation Wednesday. Get our affirmations in and out the way. Get your day started. If you're getting the replay of this via video or audio, it is affirmation that day, whatever day it is, whatever time of day it is, and it's all good. Are you ready? Let's get it going. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I'll become better than who I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it started. So, we are talking about the 4-day work week. The 4-day work week. And for those of you out here, or out there, should I say, that are, I would say, inquisitive about this topic, if you have, a 9-to-5, if you're working, salary, if you're working 12-hour, 13-hour, 14-hour, 7-hour days, or whatever, if you're part-time, whatever it is you're working, this all applies to you no matter what. If you're hiring, if you're firing, if you're the CEO, the president, the boss, manager, supervisor, all this applies to all of us. But we're going to also see how this, works for different industries as well. So what I want to start with is that this is something that's not new, first of all, because it's something that's actually happened in the past, I would say 5-6 years. So in 2015, or between 2015 and 2019, Iceland actually did a 4-day week pilot that involved 2,500 employees. And it was considered a, quote, overwhelming success, end quote. And with the researchers, they found that employees had improved well-being. Their work and life was more balanced, and they had more productivity when it came to doing a 4-day work week. And Iceland is just one of several pilots that have happened. But before we get to that, I want to just ask Owen and Denise real quick, just off the top of your head or off the cuff, how do you feel, or what are your thoughts on a 4-day work week? I'll start with O.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Because if you really break it down, it's just an extra 2 more hours on a day for 4 days. Like that's pretty cool. When you get a 3-day weekend, I think that's good, man. I think sometimes with this 5-day work week, you get 2 days off and not even because it feels like you just get Saturday. Because some people Sundays you're up early. If you go to church, you might be there depending on what kind of church you go to. You may be in there till 3. And then you're home, dinner, and then you're running it again. So if you get a 3-day work week, you get Friday off, Saturday off. I'm a big fan of it, actually.
Okay.
And I think we'll get you since we're used to a 5-day work week. I think in America we can get used to it. It'll take shape.
Denise, what are your thoughts?
I am definitely for it. I think when we had Memorial Day off, like I think 2 weeks ago, having that looking forward to that Monday off. I personally would
Yeah.
prefer Mondays than Fridays, but looking forward to that Monday off after, say, having a long weekend or being in church on Sundays, kind of motivated me to be okay with going back to work Tuesday through Friday. Because then it's like, if you think about it, after Monday's over, then you're almost halfway through the work week. So I really love a
Oh,
4-day work week.
wow. So according to Denise, by the time Monday comes and goes, you're halfway through the work week. Okay. All right. So let's get into this here because we've got some very interesting information to share with you guys today. And some of you might know this, some of you may not, or most of you may know this, or most of you may not. But either way, you're going to get some valuable information today on the 4-day work week. That is something that actually is being pushed in America, whether it's something that's silent or something that's kind of open and out there, but definitely is something that's being looked at in other countries as well. So, real quick, there is a actual website or a company, if you will, or a movement, if you want to call it, that's out there that's actually helping to push this 4-day work week. And the name of this particular community, or it's a nonprofit community service, and the name of it is called the 4-Day Week Global. 4-Day Week Global, and we'll have all those links in there. You guys can go check it out on your own time. But they're a nonprofit community service by a guy named Andrew Barnes and Charlotte Lockhart. And they provide a platform for like-minded people who are interested in supporting the idea of the 4-day work week as part of the future of work. And that's literally right off the website. I read it verbatim, pretty much. And what they have done is they have actually had several pilots over the past maybe 1 to 2 years of doing this whole 4-day work week. And they have a whole system. If you go to their website, it's a whole system that they use that kind of shows you how all this kind of works. So they've already done a few pilots already. And this is what they found in the pilots that they've done. And I'll tell you which ones have done this after this. Let's listen and see what they got. So they found out in these pilots that they did in other countries that 91% of organizations are continuing are continuing their work for their work week as a result. So as a result of the 4-day work week, they found that 91% of people continue working as a result of. And they're not necessarily saying, hey, I wish the week would end. Oh, I can't wait till the weekend gets here. Well, now you got a 4-day work week. The weekend comes a lot faster, but you're also, you're not looking forward to, or should say, they're working for the weekend. Remember that song? Everybody's working for the weekend, right? Remember that song? Yeah. So it comes a lot faster now, 4-day work week. They also found that revenue rose in particular companies by 35%. They also found that 57% of employees are less likely to quit their jobs. They also found that 73% of employees said they had greater satisfaction with their personal time and well-being, meaning personal time, meaning with family, vacation, and their overall well-being. Now, the last thing they found is, and this is a total conglomerate of all of the pilots that they ran and put together. They found that 63% of businesses found it easier to attract and retain talent with the 4-day work week. Also, they found that 78% of employees with a 4-day work week are happier and less stressed. Let's just pause for the cause right there. Happier, less stress. That sounds like a formula for a happy employee who you can also retain, attract other employees, and they have time outside of work to do family and whatever else they choose to and want to do, and have their health, well-being, exercise, fitness, or whatever they want to do outside of that. That sounds mighty good to me. Sounds good to me. So I'm going to tell you guys where they actually did these pilots at. So this happened in 2022 and 2023, actually this year. So in 2022, there were 2 pilots done. One was done by Ireland. The other was done by the good old US of A. Yes, USA did a pilot on the 4-day work week. Just thought you should know that. The other 2 that were done in 2023 were done by the UK and Australia. Okay? Now, from what I looked at from research, it appears as though Canada is actively, some parts of Canada are actively doing this 4-day work week. That's based on what I've seen and what I have researched. So, getting back to O and Denise, what are you guys' thoughts on what I just gave you guys as far as the research that they've done and the fact that the U.S. was actually one of the pilots they used to do this? I'll start with O.
Well, I would like to know who the it said 78% of the people were happy.
Right, happier
I would
and
like to know
less stressed.
Yeah, I want to know who the other 22% were that weren't happier.
Right. Right. That
Like,
would be
I guess they're like, give me another day of work.
right.
I'll be great. Like, huh? But yeah, no. So again, the numbers. People like 4-day work weeks. People like to have more time to do them. People like more, availability to do other things like vacay, play, even get more housework done. Like, I'm sure it's just an overall better quality of life.
Yeah.
You figure you're getting a whole 8 hours back. I know you're working an extra 2. And that's another thing. Does it say how long each day is going to be?
We're gonna get to that in the second half. Second half, brother. We got second half, brother.
All right.
So Denise, what are your thoughts
there?
Denise?
I'll stop.
I definitely agree with O, but also I think with the 4-day work week, I think it's perfect. Like, that's really all I can say is I think it would definitely give people the drive, and even people have that extra day to just, like you said, get work done. Because even working from home, like, sometimes it's the greatest thing because I know I don't have to wait till 6, 7 o'clock to cook dinner. I know, like, I can run errands on my lunch break if I'm home, and then come back in a timely manner in my hour lunch break. So, if there's a 4-day work week, if I just want to have that one day, hey, I have to clean the house, or hey, I just want to sleep, hey, schedule all my, meetings or appointments. If I have kids, schedule everything on that day, then I can do that. And so in the week, when I want to just come home from work and just relax, I can do that because, say, everything is taken care of, or I don't have as much pressure because I had a lot of things handled, whether it be on a Monday, Friday, or whatever day, or even a Wednesday would be good too. Think about it. But
Denise is like throwing all her ideas out there all at one time right now. She's like, just give me like Sunday to Wednesday off. Just give me that. She wants a customized 4-day work week. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, it can happen.
Good idea.
It can happen. You know what I mean? Now, I will say this. I know there are some big conglomerate companies out there like Google, Netflix, Amazon. I'm pretty sure they've tested this out already. Some of them may have decided they wanted to actually go to this. I'm not sure. I don't have the proof on that. But I do know that there are a number of businesses that have signed off on petitions to get a 4-day work week done for employees. And so there are there are several sites out there that have petitions going on to try and get a 4-day work week for not just for the United States, but like worldwide. And so I don't know how legit they are, so I'm not going to share them with you guys. But there is one out there, and I'm not going to share. Again, I don't know how legit it is, but it looks like it's the one that's kind of like the biggest one that's out there. And they're trying to get 100,000 signatures from not just employees, but from companies to kind of like help push this so-called 4-day work week bill through Congress for the United States. Now, I don't know how other countries are doing it, but this is something that they're working on right now. What I do want to say is when Australia did this, it actually happened in Australasia. And Australasia is a region that consists of Australia, New Zealand, and some other small islands near the Pacific Ocean. So like the right southern region of Australia is where they kind of did this at. And so that's where they did it in Australia. They call it Australasia, I guess. Why? I have no idea. But that's what they call it. And so that's what this was kind of done. And you can actually get access to these pilot programs and reports on the website. It's called the4dayweek.com. That's what it's called. The4dayweek.com. You can actually go and get access to these pilot results that they did for the US, for Ireland, for Australasia, and for the UK, and see what they did and what kind of things they came up with. Take a little break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the 4-day work week looks like. What's the pay look like? What's the vacation look like? Does it work for all industries or only certain industries? We'll talk about that and get into that when we come back in just a little bit. Frame of Mind Inc. Podcast. Be right back.
Are you looking for an apparel company that's positive, uplifting, and truly cares about you? Then look no further. Frame of Mind Inc., an apparel brand company, impresses on individuals to think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. Get positive apparel such as t-shirts, hoodies, and wristbands for children, teens, and adults in various colors and sizes. Customized services include logo and t-shirt design, screen printing for individuals, families, schools, profit, and nonprofit organizations. You can reach Frame of Mind Inc. at 302-689-3499 or visit their website at www.frameofmindinc.com. Frame of Mind Inc. Think it, speak it, achieve it.
All right, we are back. And before we left, we were talking about the 4-day work week, about how that looked. There's been a couple countries who have done pilots programs to test the 4-day work week out, see how that works. We also talked about, what that looks like to a degree, what we'd like to see it look like as far as a work week. Denise decides she wants a customized 4-day work week. I mean, like I said, that could happen. You never know. But right now, we're going to talk about what that looks like from a pay perspective, whether you're hourly, salary, you're part-time. What does that look like for even like, your insurance or your everything that comes along with how, you deal with your benefits and what that looks like for you. So I do want to say this, that there was something that I saw where it said, there's these options out there of how this could work. So 4-day work week. Is it a 40-hour week still? Is it 32-hour week? Or how's it all going to work? I've seen it said both ways. The one that I saw that was most common was it's still a 40-day work week. but now you're putting 40 days into 4 days, not 5. So now you're looking at maybe working 10-hour days, possibly maybe even 12-hour days, depending on where you're at. So let's look at this from, I'm going to go big here, from an Amazon standpoint, okay? Amazon workers, some of them, they're working between 40 to 60 hours a week, right? And so you go down to a 4-day work week. Let's be very, very clear on this. There is a quota to meet on a daily basis working in an Amazon warehouse. And that quota is something that needs to get met every single day. If you take 1 day away from that quota to a 4-day work week, what does that look like? Are you working longer hours? Are you working twice as hard? I mean, these are factors we kind of have to look into. You're still getting paid the same amount of money, but you might be working twice as hard now because now you have one less day to get it done. What do you guys think about companies like Amazon who have quotas, who have that they're constantly in demand, high demand, whether you're making deliveries or you're packaging, with all that stuff? What does that look like? And does that work for a company like Amazon to do a 4-day work week when you have that? I'll start with that.
Yeah, I believe it'll be a strain, and I think it will be a lot of like if you just do the math roughly off the top of my head, that's like they got to do 15% more each day to make up. You know what I mean? Or not each day, but they got to do about 5 to 10% more just to make up for that Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So are they willing to do that much more work? Which is, in the grand scheme of things, is probably not much more. But I believe you can be creative. I think it can work. But it would be hard for a job like that. The demand that they have, the long hours that they already work. So if you just tried to squeeze, let's just put it in the middle and say they work an average of 50 hours, and you squeeze that down to 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's now 11 and 12-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
I can see that becoming a complaint. Like, man, I want my day back.
Yeah. It's possible.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, or more pay. See, like I said, it's creative ways to pull it off. But yeah, that for jobs like Amazon, they might have to keep 5 days, brother.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna throw one more in there. Well, I'll throw an industry in there, and I'll let Denise comment on this one. Schools. Talk about schools. So now you have teachers, administrators. Yeah, we're getting to the nitty-gritty of it now. Teachers, administrators, educators. You go from a 5-day week to a 4-day week. What does that look like? And I was looking through some research, and some of the comments that I came across was, well, first of all, if you got a parent that's working 5 days a week, but the child's going to school 4 days a week, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa. Okay? Or you now you get educators who already have a lot to do already. You got to put a 5-day week into a 4-day week of teaching your students. Okay? What does that look like for educators? Because now you're asking them to do more with less time, as if they already don't have enough time already to do what they do. Denise, what are your thoughts on that?
So here's my idea with that. So I feel like if you look at the DMV, for instance, the Department of Motor Vehicles, they have a longer work day on Wednesdays, and I think it's either Friday or Monday, whatever day that they're off, or Sunday, one of the days. So there's an idea there.
Right.
Stretch one of the work days longer. Have, say, a first, second, third shift people. I'm pretty sure people would want to work and say, hey, your incentive, besides having your benefits and everything, is you get this day off. See how that works. As far as schools,
Okay.
Here's the thing. You could hire aftercare staff because you have parents who kind of work late. Also, here's another idea to throw in, is having overnight daycares possibly. Say if people who may have to pick up another job because, say, they can't work longer hour, or their job cut the hours down or something because it's a 4-day work week, have an overnight daycare or just a late night facility. I'm sure there are people who like to work late night hours who can be with the kids, assist them in what they need if they don't have family. But yeah, those are some ideas to throw out. I think it can work. The kids have a day. Hey, Fridays or Mondays, that's still a learning day for the parents to teach their kids, or have a day where it's like that's their field day or something, where even if the teachers have to come into the school, they necessarily don't have to teach, but they can have a field day, have a party, plan, do whatever it could be. So there's ideas to get around it. Have to think.
Got you. So I asked Denise the question of how she feels about that. She came with ideas. This is why
She got creative.
yes,
Yeah,
she got creative with it. So if you're listening out there, you might want to write some of these down for your educators. If that happens, and they be like, "Hey, look, we got ideas already." But listen to this. I'm gonna throw this out here too. I like where we're going with this. Educators have already experienced a 4-day work week because of COVID. You were in school Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday was an asynchronous day, which means they weren't necessarily teaching, but they had work given to the students through their, devices that they could do on that asynchronous day. So we've kind of already experienced it already. The question is, can that work on a continuous basis? And I think Denise just gave us some ideas of what we could do. Whether they work or not, we don't know, but she gave some great ideas of how that could work for educators. So I just kind of just wanted to throw that little slight monkey wrench in there. We've done it already. Question is it sustainable and can it work? That's all I'm saying. So real quick, I have here, I actually just pulled this up. There are some countries who are either actively right now experimenting or are embracing the 4-day work week. This report is from CNBC. It actually came out in April of this year. And so the 4 countries that are actually experimenting with it or are embracing it are South Africa, Belgium, Iceland, and Japan. Those are the 4 countries that are either experimenting with the 4-day work week or they are embracing the 4-day work week. Just wanted to kind of throw that out to you guys. So you have, again, 4 days of work, 3-day weekend. Now, here's my thoughts on this, since I haven't really shared my thoughts yet. Here are my thoughts on this. I don't think it can be one size fits all. I think you have to look at your industry, look at what it is you do. Does this work in our industry? And if it doesn't work, I would suggest not doing it, or try to figure out how you could work that to not just the advantage of the company, but the advantage of the customers, or in the case of education, how it works into the advantage or for the better for the educators and the students. Okay. Another thing I would say, work week as far as pay goes. Omar talked about it real quick in the first half. So the second half, it says that, look, right now, the 40-day work week is still being the most popular thing. As from what the research that I saw, it's not looking to cut anyone's pay. You still get paid the same amount of money that you would get paid if you worked 5 days. It's down to 4 days. The question now becomes, but if I'm working, say, longer hours, or I'm asked to be more productive, how does that affect, my pay? And again, I don't know if the quota goes up or if your goals go up. It's just, hey, you have one less day to get it done. But if you're working 10-hour days, it's still 40 hours a week. If you have a job where you normally work overtime or you work longer hours because you don't have a set time, let's say you work a salary job, and there really are no hours in your day. It's just as long as you get your done and you're productive, you're good to go, whether you work 4 hours that day or you work 12. Then you have some where you have your delivery drivers. something I used to do. Delivery drivers, you don't have an 8-hour day. Your day is over when it's over. And that could be 13, 14-hour days. It could be. And so now you're getting into overtime. Because if you're hourly, now you're getting into overtime. So there are a number of factors that go in. As I say, it depends on your industry. Like, does this work for your industry? And if not, how can you figure it out so that it can work? Or you just stay with the 5-day work week. And so those are kind of my thoughts on it from that perspective, just to just kind of throw those little small monkey wrenches in there, just to kind of make us think of, hey, that'd be a great thing to do, but doesn't really work for your industry. So before we go, you have any other, statements, questions, anything that I might not have hit on that you want to bring up?
Yeah, no, I'll just say this, man. I believe ultimately, that if you got the ability to work from home, they just need to implement a hybrid situation where you can like a mandatory 2 days in office, and then you pick whatever days you want. But like that should automatically go implemented already. Since COVID happened, we've been home right. And then we just, like we said before on our educational podcast, we need to rethink education and rethink how many days and hours we're in there. And that's my final statement.
He's sticking with it. That's it.
Yeah.
Denise, any final thoughts, questions, statements, anything I didn't cover?
Yes. Another idea.
Uh-oh.
Why not do some half days? Half days. The kids love it. The parents, they can have a half day. Say maybe going or work to earlier. So maybe you're going to work at 6 and hey, you're going to get out at 1 p.m. It kind of works out there. And then save some parents who don't get out early on a half day, bring in some aftercare teachers. That's what I used to do when I worked at Redline Christian Academy. Bring in some aftercare teachers. Hey, can you work for a couple hours? Watch these kids while the parents who necessarily don't get the half day or 4-day work week. I'm pretty sure you can find people who want to do that. But then, give people some half days.
Mm-hmm.
You come in at 6, leave at 1, come in at 8, leave at 3, instead of coming in, leaving at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, So that's another suggestion.
So, FYI, everybody, Denise didn't answer any questions. She just gave ideas and suggestions.
Ideas, right?
I'm just saying. I mean, look, if you have a pen and paper or an iPad, you need to be writing this stuff down and taking this back to your those who are in authority over what it is you're doing to start, especially if you're an educator. All right, we're giving you guys Denise is giving you guys some good nuggets to go back and kind of look at this 4-day work week from an education standpoint. That's all I got to say right there about that. And again, too, those are all great ideas. And it may not be one size fits all, because we all know that different school districts, different states, different budgets, you got to look all that stuff in. But let's be completely honest. If it's really about the students and about how things will work best for education, like my man O said, we said it before in a podcast earlier, the way we do education needs to change. And then making sure that everyone, is benefiting from it. The teachers who are teaching, the students who are learning, and all that stuff. Even those who are, in the board of the board education and whatnot. So I think all that goes into effect. So we really wanted to just kind of get the wheels turning on this, is just to see what our thoughts are on this. It's again something that's been really prevalent in the past 5 to 6 years. One thing I will say before we start to end this out is that I told you about the 4dayweek.com. This is where I got most of the information from. And basically, if you want to test out or you want to do one of their pilot programs to see if the 4-day work week works for you, you can actually go to their website and you can see they actually have a blueprint of what you can do and how you can run the 4-day work week at your, company, organization, and see how that works for you. I can't remember how many months it is you do it, because it's kind of a month. It's a few months of doing it. It's not like you're going to do it for a couple of weeks and then stop. Like, no, we got to get data, see how this works. It's going to take some time to do it. I did see, I think it was between 4 to 6 months. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But if you go to the actual site, 4dayworkweek.com, you can actually see their pilot programs and see if you want to, sign up to do this for your company or business or organization, and see if the 4-day work week works in your favor for you, your employees, and even customers, or your staff, teachers, and students. Just saying. So, all of us here at the Fam Money Podcast need to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And until next time, myself, Denise, and we holla.
Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's a frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.